These flowers might look like something you'd pick up at a market, but I made them myself, and they're inspired by one of my favorite summer memories. Hello everyone, jennifermaker here. It's a beautiful day to make pipe cleaner flowers. I'll show you how to make this large sunflower and share some tips on making a smaller version for variety. They're so fun to make with just a few materials, and I have a free gift to make these flowers even easier for you. You can download my free Pipe Cleaner Flowers reference guide at jennifermaker.com/799 from my site's resource library. Just get a password and you're in. The guide is your bend and twist map. If you follow it, your flower comes out symmetrical without guessing. Print it at 100% for the large 7-inch flower like I'm making today, or at 75% for a smaller 5.5-inch bloom. Fast safety check. We'll use hot glue, scissors, wire cutters, and a heat press or iron. Put on silicone finger protectors for glue. Keep wire ends pointed away from you, and be careful when cutting. Now I mentioned these flowers are easy, but I recommend you watch this tutorial all the way to the end before trying it. And remember, you can change the speed and rewind as needed. To make one flower with a leaf, you'll need a wire flower stem and several 12-inch pipe cleaners. Grab 16 yellows, 2 browns, and 7 greens. I have everything I use linked below and in the materials list at jennifermaker.com/799. There are several types of pipe cleaners available and they'll all work. I do have a tip to fluff your pipe cleaners if they're thinner and you see gaps when you're done though. Plus a fun use for any extras I'll tell you about soon. Put the printed guide on your work surface. We'll keep checking our shapes against it so you don't have to eyeball anything. Let's make a petal together. Take 1 yellow pipe cleaner, match the ends to find the middle, and use scissors to cut it at the center so you get 2 6-inch pieces. Fold each piece in half so it has a bend and 2 legs. To link them like the picture, slide the leg of one piece through the bend of the other. Hold the center and twist the legs of both pieces close to the joint in opposite directions once to secure them. You should have a skinny X. Check it against your guide. Now fold the top legs down so everything lays flat. The outer legs are slightly shorter than inner legs. That's the secret to making a petal shape instead of a triangle. Smooth the 4 legs into straight columns. Then fold the outer 2 legs inward at right angles so they cross the center legs about 1/2 inch from the ends. It doesn't have to be exact. If there's a shorter folded section, start with it, or use either to wrap just around the 2 middle legs from the front to the back. Then wrap the other folded end back to front right at the same spot. That's what locks it. If your wrap looks loose, just unwrap and redo. Pipe cleaners are very forgiving. The goal is tight wraps hugging the 2 middle legs. Now you repeat until you have 16 petals. And remember, real petals aren't identical. Yours don't need to be either. To add some shape, gently pull the outer edges wider and pinch the petal tip so the fibers still touch. If you see gaps, you can heat press each petal on a heat-safe pad with parchment paper on top. I set my Cricut mini press to medium, or about 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 149 degrees Celsius, and pressed for 30 seconds with medium pressure. A home iron works too on medium heat with no steam. Look at that before and after. It's like the petal got a little salon blowout. For the flower center, warm up your hot glue gun and have your finger protectors ready. Take 2 brown pipe cleaners, match the ends, and twist them tightly together. You won't want to put the coil down once it's shaped, so put your protectors on. Coil the twisted pipe cleaners into a flat spiral. Pinch the coil tight as you turn so you don't get gaps. If a gap shows up, back up and recoil tighter. Try to match the guide's diagram. Keeping the spiral secure, fold the free end in toward the middle so it will touch each ring. Lift the folded section up and add hot glue to its underside, then press it to secure the coil until fully set. Place the center face down on the guide so the glue side is up. That's where the petals will go. The guide will help with petal positioning next. Choose the prettier side of a petal for the front. If one side has bumps or visible ends, that's your back. Add a few lines of glue to the front from the wraps down the legs, not all the way to the tips. Press the glued section onto the back of the center following the diagram. For a symmetrical flower, add the next petal opposite from the first. Their ends may or may not touch. Either way is okay. Build your first layer of 8 petals, then bring your flower to the next page, and fill in the gaps with the remaining 8 petals, overlapping the first layer's edges slightly. To shape the petals, hold it face up and lift the upper ones slightly up from the center. Then curve ends around your fingers so they arch up and down. Shape the bottom layer with a gentler curve so it looks good from the top and the side. You can fine-tune the shaping once everything is complete. I found that making the basic petal shapes is easier before the stem is attached. Speaking of the stem, we'll start with the leafy base under the flower. Fold 1 green pipe cleaner about 1.5 inches down from one end. About 1 inch from the first fold, bend the pipe cleaner back on itself in the opposite direction to make a point. Continue the 1-inch accordion folds until you have 4 folded points going up. If your shape doesn't match the guide, try flipping it to see a different orientation. I'll call the points leaves. Gently pinch the leaves at the tops and bottoms to make them sharper if needed. Bring the short end across the long stem to close the shape and wrap it all the way around to lock. Fan the leaves out evenly. To secure the bend above the wrap, bring the long end up between the middle leaves, fold tight, and bring it back down tightly. Then gently pull the lower edges to make little leafy shapes. Repeat the steps to make a second piece that looks very similar. Stack the pieces and hold the aligned wraps, then twist the stems together down their length. Fold the top halves down so it's mostly flat with 8 little leaves. Check how the stem will sit on the back of the flower center. You can make adjustments to the shaping as needed. Put on your finger protectors, then add hot glue to the leaves' tops and the center joint. Put it back in position, then press and hold until it's set. Pressing squished it a bit, but we can do more shaping at the end. A leaf is pretty similar to a petal, but we'll use 3 green pipe cleaners folded in half instead of 2 for more thickness. Link them by slipping one's leg through the bends of the other 2. With a single piece at the top of the X, twist it once right at the joint to secure them. Bring the upper legs down to the sides to make 6 columns. About 1.5 inches from the bottom of the middle pieces, fold the outer legs in at right angles. Then wrap them over the middle legs to lock everything, starting with the shorter side if you have one. Remember, one goes around from the front and the other goes around the back. Shape the leaf by pinching the top and pulling the lower edges wider, but don't leave any gaps. At the bottom, find the longest end to be your attachment piece later. Trim the other 3 right below the wraps. And just like the petals, you can heat press the leaf to fluff it up. To finish up, grab a few more green pipe cleaners and a 14-inch length of 18-gauge floral stem wire. Press one end of your floral wire into the flower's underside next to the stem. You should feel it hit the center, but pull back if it pushes through to the front. Hold the wire in place and wrap the twisted green stems around it. The wrap should be tight, but you can have small spaces between the twists for now. Then wrap a full green pipe cleaner around the stem to fill the gaps where the floral wire is visible and continue down the stem until you want to add the leaf. If you see gaps, compress the coils upward. With the leaf's prettier side facing up, align its wraps with the lowest covered stem section, so the leaf's attachment is along the bare wire. Hold the leaf in place and continue wrapping the long pipe cleaner around the wire stem and the leaf's attachment until it's secure. When the wrapping pipe cleaner gets short, add a new one by overlapping their ends by about 1/2 inch to make an X. Then wrap the short crossed pieces around the long ones in opposite directions. Keep wrapping. When the covered stem is the length you want, Trim the extra pipe cleaner. I made my large stem about 10 inches long. Use wire cutters to trim the extra floral wire, not scissors because it will damage them, and hold both pieces so the cut end doesn't fly away. Then give the petals and leaf a final check for gaps and make shaping adjustments until they look lovely from all angles. If yours looks a little different than mine, that's normal. Handmade flowers should have personality. Making a smaller flower is very similar with just a few changes. First, print the guide at 75%, then trace and bend your pipe cleaners following the 2-scale diagrams. For the stem's top, follow the fold marks on the guide. They'll be shorter. Then trim the excess to match the diagram. In the end, you'll have a smaller sunflower that's perfectly proportioned. And you're done. This gorgeous sunflower never droops, never needs water, and it instantly makes the space feel happier. And once you've made one, it's hard not to start imagining a whole bunch of them. Different sizes, different colors, maybe even a full bouquet. If you're enjoying working with pipe cleaners, there are so many fun directions you can go next. One of my favorites is a pipe cleaner name project that I teach inside my advanced program. It's completely customizable and surprisingly fun to make once you get started. Check it out at jennifermaker.com/advance. Projects like these also tend to be really popular at craft fairs, especially because they're easy to personalize. So if you've ever found yourself wondering whether you could sell the things you make, my Maker Marketplace Handbook walks you through that whole journey, from the very first idea all the way to evaluating an existing handmade business. Let me know if this project sparked a few new ideas for you and reminded you just how much joy a simple, hands-on craft can bring. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.